I'm Colby Smith. Subscribe on YouTube down below, or follow me on Twitter @ColbyJS. They keep telling me it's a recovery. A what? A recovery? From what? A recovery from what? Things were better for me. Two years after the recession, I moved out. I moved into my own place. 2 years later, I couldn't afford that. On the same wage, I couldn't afford it. Now I can barely even afford to live with my own mum. What recovery? There's no recovery. It's a recovery for the rich, is what people keep telling me. I'm like, the rich? They never. What did they need recovering from? They're called the rich. They don't need a recovery. They need a. We recovered the rich. We bailed out the banks. The Tory party, they don't want nothing to do with socialism. They don't want nothing to do with social justice. They don't want nothing to do with building a better social contract. All they want is capitalism, privatisation, boom, 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 outsourcing. That's all they care about, making money. When it comes to bailing out the banks, who pays for it? We paid for it. So they want socialism when they're fucked. But when they're loving it, when they're rolling in the money, when they've got a recovery, they don't care about socialism. They don't care about social justice. They want to see you rotting. They don't care. That's not a recovery. It's a recession. It's not a robbery. It's not a recession. It's a fucking robbery. It's shocking. I see one graph I see on the Kaiser report, which just killed it for me. It killed the argument, like dead in the water. It's like shooting fish in a barrel. They showed a graph of productivity. Since the 1940s, productivity is going up consistently. It's going up on a big enough scale. It's going up from 1940s to today, regardless of recessions, crashes, booms, busts. Productivity is going up. And then they had a second line on this graph from the 1940s, which was workers' compensation for productivity, as in how much they're getting paid hourly per this productivity. And like at the beginning, as you could expect, productivity was going up, and the compensation that us paupers get for building, we build the productivity, don't forget. It's not the CEOs, it's not the FTSE that makes this country productive. It's me, you, fucking Bob the builder, the butchers. They're the people making productivity. So yeah, the wages, the hourly compensation for productivity went up until 1970, until the mid-1970s, where the line for the hourly compensation, it didn't go down, it just went flat. Productivity's been going up to this day, and the compensation we get for that is just stopped. It's gone flat, and in real terms, if we put inflation into that, it's gone down for 30 years. Our wages have gone down for 30 years. So where's all the money gone? They're making more shit. Productivity is happening. The City of London is booming. The stock exchange is at a record high. House prices are higher now than they were when it collapsed in 2008. So where's all the money gone? The CEOs, the fucking bankers, that's where the money's gone. The people that were rich in the first place are getting richer. They don't need that money. Back in them days, in the beginning, before this separation between wage and productivity happened, you had the CEOs, the executives. They were getting paid something like, I think the figure was between 30 and 60 times more than an average worker. The CEOs were taking all that money in, which is more than enough anyway. I mean, if I can survive on fuck all, they can survive on a little bit more than fuck all. But yeah, now it's like 150, 250 times more than the average worker the CEOs are taking home. Where the fuck is the money going? Left Unity website tells me that the FTSE 100 companies, the big banks, the corporations in England alone, or UK, whatever, they're sitting on £275 billion of just funds. They're doing nothing with. They're just sitting there on it, not spending it, not investing it. Just, well, there's people at the bottom end food banks with fucking no money, can't afford to move into a decent house, can't even afford to rent a shitty house. What is wrong? Why are they taking all that money? It's a fucking robbery. The 1%. It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fucking fact. It's just going upwards and upwards and upwards and upwards. And every now and again, I mean, you can't just have money going upwards forever. It's not going to work. It's unsustainable. They must already know it's unsustainable. They must know that neoliberalism is fucked. They must have looked at South America and seen all those countries there say no. They must know that it is a fucking defunct system. You can't just have all that money going upwards and upwards and upwards. I mean, it's going to get to a point where the people getting paid, they're not even getting paid anymore. The people at the bottom have got fuck all. Why do they need all that money at the top? What are they doing with it? When you've got almost half a trillion pounds just sitting idle in bank accounts in vaults. You can't spend that much. You physically cannot spend that much money. If you watch Brewster's Millions, you cannot spend it. You cannot spend that much money. What are you going to do with it? It's power. That's all it is. They want it for power, for control, for the war machine. It's just fucking... It's not a conspiracy theory, it's a conspiracy fact. At the top, the 1%, the 0.5%, the 0.1%, they've got more than you can even imagine. I mean, if these CEOs who are earning 200, 300 times more than the average worker, all they've got to do is scrape like 5% off of their wage and re-put it at the bottom. All they've got to do is take a tiny fraction. They should take the fucking lot of it, but even if they did just take a tiny fraction of that 270 million of idle money and put it back in at the bottom, it's shocking. You've got people working at Tesco's for nothing, working at Tesco's for £60 a week on workfare, while Tesco's is raking in billions at the top end. The CEOs are taking home hundreds of millions. It's sickening. What kind of society does that to you? What kind of fucking country would do that to its own people, and the government willingly just let it? They're not letting it happen. They're making it happen. It's not like they're sitting idly by while it happens. They're enforcing the laws that are making it happen. Like, how much more can the people of the UK take? What kind of life are you leaving for your children? Fucking shitty jobs, debt, shitty houses. I don't want to bring how am I going to explain this to my children? How am I going to explain that? It's no world to bring a child up in. It's just sickening.